know that software companies beta test their serious business programs, but what about game software? How do they work the bugs out of those? Well, in rooms just like this one, here at PBI Software in Foster City, California, where designers and testers bang away at keyboards, joysticks, and mice to make sure the games work just right. Indeed, the R&D that goes into game design is often just as complicated as the work that goes into a serious business program. Today, we continue our two-part look at game software on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by CompuServe, featuring an online reference library, Wall Street reports, at-home shopping, airline reservations, games, and hundreds of other services. CompuServe, helping people get the most from computers. Additional funding is provided by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte. Byte's detailed technical articles on new hardware, software, and languages cover developments in computer technology worldwide.
Whoa! Upside Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart, Cheifet, and my opponent over here is Gary Kildall. We're playing an incredible game called Falcon. We're each flying our own F-16s. These two PCs are connected by the communications ports so that I see Gary on my screen, he sees my plane on his screen. This also, Gary, has a black box of flight recorder in here so that when I crash, as I always do, I can go back and look at the flight recorder, see what I did, and see what kind of mistake I made. These games are so sophisticated, but some parents, I think, worry that maybe their kids spend too much time playing computer games. What do you think?
Well, the games can be very, very educational. For example, it may be the kid's first introduction to a computer, pushing the buttons, running a mouse around, things like that. There are obvious things like hand-eye coordination is a very important thing to learn. Things like problem solving through tactics and strategies that help them win the game, things of that sort. Also, the games themselves, asteroids. So they remember asteroids? Right. As the rocks flying through space, the kids would learn about gravitational effects, sort of a hands-on physics in a sense. Flight simulators, learn about flying. But, you know, I've got hands-on experience at home that tells me the kids can't OD on these things, though, too.
Gary, we're going to take a look at some of the hottest new games for two machines, the Macintosh and the IBM PC. Among them, Chuck Yeager's Advanced Flight Trainer, a helicopter simulation called Apache Strike, and one heck of a golf game called Mean 18. Now, as Gary said, computer games can be educational. We're going to start out by going to a school where a teacher is using computer games to teach her children.
Educational software has come a long way since the first math and spelling drills found their way into elementary schools. Teachers now have a choice of role-playing adventure games that both entertain and teach. At the Crocker Middle School near San Francisco, teacher Donna Hauer uses a game called The Other Side that simulates international conflicts.
We do a lot of different kinds of problem-solving strategies, and some of the goals of the class are to learn how to negotiate, to learn how to work in a cooperative group and make decisions together. Another one is to be able to organize your information and extrapolate information from that information once you've got it organized. And this game is a nice setting for that.
Each team of 4 students tries to build a bridge to the other team's country and must compete for the needed resources and money. Players divide their time between the computer and a conference table where they plan strategy and review their progress.
I found in my years of teaching that the students want to be put in a situation where they're acting something out, where they actually have to do these sort of things, and there's some sort of reward, just like there is for you and I when we negotiate. There's a reward, there's a carrot at the end of our negotiation. And living it is a better teacher than reading about it and reciting facts.
Donna Hauer's students may not be ready for the State Department, but their class game seems to be having an effect. During the recent Reagan-Gorbachev summit, they discussed the likely strategies used by the two sides. Not bad for a group of kids in their early teens.
Joining us in the studio now is Peter Merrill of PBI Software. Peter created the game Strategic Conquest. Next to Peter, Eric Zocker of Silicon Beach Software.
Peter, we talked about the kids getting all hung up on computer games. Is your game any different?
Oh, very definitely. This is a game that adults really like to play.
What's the idea behind it?
Well, it's a strategy war game, and over here I've got the map. The white represents water, the gray represents land, the black is an area that we don't know anything about. We would find out about it by moving some of our pieces into the black area. It would then become visible.
So this is not really the Earth, this is a mythical planet.
It's a game that we generate with a random number generator.
Okay.
In here now, in this current game that I've been playing, I own 4 islands here. The enemy owns these 2 islands right here. My strategy is to conquer this island. To do that, I've loaded troop transports with troops, and I've dumped them off up here. This creates a lot of confusion and draws him over here. In the meantime, I've loaded up a whole bunch more troop transports and dumped them off all along here. Now I'm going to go to the next screen and we'll see the details of that. This is the screen that you normally use when playing the game. This is the island we're trying to capture. My smoke screen was up here. The computer, for demonstration purposes, is playing my side. And you've got things like an aircraft carrier right here. These are jets flying around. You can hear the sounds of the jets as they move.
So would you normally be moving these jets with a point and click?
Yeah. Exactly. You point and click like this.
I see.
Down here we've got cities, and these light pieces are my pieces, the dark pieces are the enemy pieces. And these armies are now going in and trying to capture these cities.
It says you've just captured the city.
Captured your city. So the key to the game is capturing cities, because cities make more pieces. The more cities you've captured, the more you
manufacture more weapons, etc. I see.
The more you have, the more powerful you are.
Okay, Peter, what is the bottom line object of the game now?
Well, what you have to do is capture all the cities, and that lets you win the world.
You want to conquer the world, that's the point,
exactly
like any good game.
That's exactly right.
Peter, I'm going to ask you to get your program out of there and load up the next one. I want to talk to Eric for just a second. You have 2 games you're going to show us, and the first one is called Beyond Dark Castle, which you describe as kind of interactive cartoon, which is a great phrase. Tell me what you mean by that.
By that I mean it's like a cartoon experience in that you control the actions of the main character on the screen. There's a lot of detailed animation and cartoon-like digitized soundtrack that makes it a lot like a cartoon for the people that are watching you play.
Okay,
Sounds interesting. Let's see it.
Okay, let's show it.
We're in the game's practice mode in the middle of the swamp, which is one of the 14 rooms, and I'll go ahead and pick it up. There's a flaming eye that I have to destroy before he destroys me.
What are your weapons there?
I'm throwing rocks right now, but there in one of the other rooms there's a special spell I can acquire from a wizard to have fireball capability instead of rocks.
This is not Strategic Conquest.
No. No.
Okay, and you're trying to get to the end to get the...
To get one of the magic orbs that I need to win the game. I just gave myself some gas. I'm in the practice mode, so I can do that.
Three little helicopters.
At the end of this swamp, there's a guard shack where one of the 5 magic orbs is stored.
Okay, and this little guy's flying with his little private little helicopter thing, is that it?
That's right.
Okay.
And I believe we're almost there. There we are.
All right.
And I'll just stow my chopper pack here.
The detail.
Pick the mace up.
Okay, you got to beat
Got
that
him.
guy up.
I've taken care of dispatch the guard now. And now I'll go up and claim the orb.
Okay.
And all I need to do now is fly back out and place it on a pedestal in the anteroom and then go get the other 4.
All right, I guess that's a pretty good description, an interactive cartoon. That's really pretty neat. I want to ask you about the other game you have here now, which is called Apache Strike. And you fly a helicopter, but it's not really a helicopter simulation, is it?
No, it's not really. It's an action fantasy is what I would call it. The real objective that we had in designing Apache Strike was to get a real good action feel and really get your pulse pounding.
Okay,
I'll go ahead and
get my pulse pounding, Eric.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start it up. I'm going to start on level 20, where there's quite a bit of action.
All right, what's happening here,
All
Eric?
systems go.
I'm flying the helicopter now using the mouse, and that's one of the enemy helicopters. And these are skyscrapers that I'm flying through. And
where are you headed?
I'm trying to find the strategic defense computer. That gauge on the right-hand side of the screen, ouch, is the bearing and distance to the strategic defense computer. Now I'm 47 blocks away.
And we just see that screen cracked in the right. What happened there?
That's my radar screen, which is normally very useful to have, but as you can see, this program will let parts of your equipment get damaged, which adds to the challenge on the more difficult levels.
You just have to know where you're going, right?
That's right. And now I'll try and get this tank.
Okay, what's the voice we hear?
That's Linda, the lifelike inboard narrative damage assessment computer. And that's actually the digitized voice of, oops, one of Silicon Beach's programmers.
We're asking you to talk and fly a chopper at the same time. I realize that's difficult. Okay, so you're trying to track down what here?
Strategic defense computer. It's the central computer controlling the city's defenses, and the mission at each level is to fly through the enemy's defenses to the center of the city and then destroy the strategic defense computer.
Okay, you mentioned you're playing at level 20. How many levels are there in this game?
You can go up indefinitely. We've got 500 levels programmed in.
Do you think anybody will ever get there?
I hope so. You can start on level 120 or 40. I'm getting real close now. Hopefully soon Linda will say SDC sighted and we'll know.
How do you know
right
you're
there.
getting close from?
Enemy behind.
Oh boy. Ouch.
Oh! Eric, the smooth operation, the smooth picture movement looks really, really good. How do you accomplish that anyway?
What this is 3D animation with hidden surface removal, and the enemies are also have surfaces removed and are shaded. Bill Appleton's, the programmer, has achieved quite a feat here to get 20 frames of that happening per second. It makes the game really smooth.
Yeah, it looks good.
Eric, what's the next step? What's the next technology thing that's going to make games even better than they are now?
There's a new technology on the horizon called Compact Disc Interactive that's actually a home entertainment type of technology, and I think that has the possibility to introduce video and a lot of interesting possibilities.
What are the current projections on when that's going to arrive as far as consumer products?
I think maybe end of 1988 is what I'm hearing, and the CDI player actually connects to the stereo and the television, and
Yeah, so
contains
you're actively working on that now?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Peter, real quick, what's next?
Oh, with faster computers, more AI, and you just never know what's around the corner.
Okay, Gary and I were playing Falcon against each other at the beginning of the program here in the same room. Nowadays, you can actually play a real-time computer game against an opponent anywhere in the country. Wendy Woods tells us how.
This is the Island of Kismai, a Dungeons and Dragons type of game, and Michael Orkin, a statistician who's designed and played his share of games, is playing it for the first time with 2 other people 2,000 miles away in real time via the CompuServe network. This is an example of what's called a multi-user game. Several people can be online playing any one game simultaneously. They're not your arcade-type games with stunning graphics. Their visual display consists of the basic characters that can be sent across the phone lines to all types of computers. Angle brackets, carets, dashes, and dollar signs represent doors, altars, or treasure, for instance. But graphics are not the selling point for multi-user games.
It's different. It's kind of fun to do it this way. And if you're playing it by yourself, of course, you can just sort of fool around and do everything the way you want to do it. If you're doing it with a few other people, then they want to be doing things their way. And so you might, in fact, that's kind of fun too, I guess, if you get in conflicts with the people that you're playing the game with.
Imagination is a big part of the appeal of these games. Players can take on identities of their alter egos. Getting hooked on a game like this can be expensive, but there are plenty of people willing to make that investment, or CompuServe wouldn't be planning to offer even more than the 30 games online now in the near future. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Wendy Woods.
Joining us in the studio now is Ned Lerner, the creator and designer of Chuck Yeager's Advanced Flight Trainer. And next to Ned is John Carell, one of the developers of a golf game called Mean 18.
Ned, you talk about your program as being a flight trainer rather than a flight simulator. What's the difference?
This program has a more emphasis on flight instruction than
previous programs. It has a flight instruction sequence designed by a professional flight instructor.
Okay, so let's take a look at it.
Okay. I'm going to start off flying in an F-18 Hornet, and I start off in a hangar. I'll give myself some power and start paying attention to the program.
Okay, this is a kind of just neutral airfield. You're going to have to talk a little bit, Ned, like
Okay.
This is not Egypt. We're seeing pyramids.
Yeah, this is a fantasy landscape. It's like Egypt or Nellis Air Force Base. And it's just a good place to fly. Airplanes not much around, and nobody to hurt.
You're obviously not in a Cessna here. You can tell.
No, this plane is wonderful handling and extremely good acceleration. I'm going to come back and buzz the runway here. See if I can.
You really get the effect, don't you?
Yeah, and I might as well take it in.
Oh, and there's Chuck Yeager.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you do?
I hit the ground. I wanted to show his pretty face.
What else can you show us on this? Got formation flying, I think, where you fly along with Chuck?
Yeah, I can.
Show us that.
There's 4 different modes of the program. One's formation flying, and it's, again...
Oh, you're right behind him there.
Yeah. You try to stay as close as you can, and the trick is to watch his wings and follow the way they're banked, and to keep them in your screen too.
And try and concentrate and talk at the same time.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned you have 100 hours on this game, right? On the flight simulator.
That brings up the point of how much does it help someone really learn to fly? Serve as a trainer?
It does a good job. If you don't know much about flying, you'll learn a lot about the way the plane handles, and you also learn how all the instruments work. And I think it might save you, 50 hours of classroom time or something. So,
Ned, what role, if any, did Chuck Yeager actually play in the design of this?
Chuck Yeager's the world's most famous pilot, and he is one reason he knows almost everything there is to know about flying. He's an expert on airplanes, and he helped us pick the airplanes we're using for the program. He also is an expert in aircraft training, and he helped us set that up.
Ned, you're flying an F-18. You have an SR-71 in there. Where else do you simulate?
We simulate a wide variety of planes, everything from World War I Spads and Sopwith Camels to experimental test planes and the X-1, World War II craft. Pretty much everything you'd want to try, I think.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And that's where SR-71, you can just fly up into space.
You can fly up to space and lose.
Fool around up there.
You don't have any control anymore. There's no more air, but
John,
it's fun.
I can understand the flight simulator. How do you simulate golf on a computer? That seems harder to imagine.
Well, it's actually probably a little easier than what Ned did with his program. Ours doesn't require quite as much concentration to play, so hopefully I'll be able to describe it as we play along. What we tried to do was to provide the user with 3-dimensional view, and as I get into the game, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a little easier to show than it is to describe.
Let's take a look at it.
Well, show it.
Before you get start with plane, you have the option of going to the practice tee, as you see here, practicing your driving, going to practice screen, or practicing your putting, practice any one of the 18 holes, or begin the game. And we're going to begin the game here. What we're going to do is we're going to resume a game and play that I actually started on Pebble Beach, which is one of the courses that comes with it. Here you see an overview of Pebble Beach, the 18th hole, and as you can see, the regulation tees are 533 yards, pro tees are 543 yards. We're playing from the pro tees.
And it's a par 5.
And it's a par 5. The computer, as you can see down at the text portion of the screen, is recommending a driver based on the distance that I have left to the hole. If you ever get stuck, you can also press escape at any time, and that will remind you of all of the various key commands that you need in order to play. But basically, in order to do an entire stroke, it requires only 3 taps of the space bar. The first one will start my backswing, the second one will start my downswing, and the third one is actually the most crucial crucial as far as timing goes, for determining whether I'm going to hit the ball straight or hook, which means go to the left, slice, go to the right. So here I'm going to go. I'm going to tap it right now to start, tap it again, tap it again. So I was a little bit late, which means the ball is going to slice ever so slightly to the right.
So there really is some physical coordination you've got to do here in terms of the timing of this keystroke. But you're hitting the space bar 3 times.
Right. So it's simple keyboard input, which makes it easy to learn for people, but at the same time it does require some critical timing, which will give people some challenge over the course of playing the game. Now we find ourselves at the position where I hit the ball and I have 294 yards left to the hole. The computer is recommending the 3-wood because that's the club that will give me the maximum distance. So I'm going to try hitting it again. Again, it's 3 taps of the space bar, once, twice, 3 times. And again, I hit it a little bit late, which means I'm slicing to the right. You can see the ball traveling down there. And it looks like I might end up behind the tree. And by the way, there actually is a tree there on the 18th hole at Pebble Beach.
So that's the real course.
Right.
Okay.
Now I'm going to do something here a little different. We're going to go back to that original overhead view, and the computer is going to trace out where I just hit my last 2 shots. Yep, we're right behind the tree. Okay, so what I need to do then is aim a little bit. And I'm going to aim by pressing the left cursor key.
Looks like cheating to me.
So we're going to aim by pressing the left cursor key. Again, I can aim again to the right, and if I wanted to, I can go in a complete 360-degree rotation. The computer is recommending a pitching wedge, which gives me a total maximum distance of about 100 yards. So I'm going to hit it about 70% of the club's rated power. And again, it requires 3 taps.
Now, how do you do that? You said you're going to hit it at 70%.
Right. The power bar that's on the left-hand portion of the screen goes from 0 to 100%. So I'm going to stop it at about 70%, which is about the 7th white mark that you see up there on the screen. Hopefully, I can do that. Here we go. Boom. Boom. And I intentionally sliced it a little bit because I had to aim to the left of the hole.
Whoa! Looked pretty good.
Good. So we're on in 3.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to an overhead of the green. It will show me where my ball is in relationship to the hole. If there were other people playing, it would show the rest of the players' balls.
I don't want to rush your game, but you got 30 seconds to make this
Great.
up, John.
28 feet. If I needed to aim, I would move the cursor key up and down. And it looks like I have a straight shot in. My power bar on the left is now in increments of 8 feet, so I need to hit it about 3.5. Oh, I hit it.
Oh, sorry, that was pretty close. You got one more shot, though, anyhow.
Okay, well, we'll finish it up. And I still ended up...
All right.
I still ended up with a birdie. Now, there's my scorecard.
Now, you've got 4 built-in courses in Mean 18. You can actually design your own course, though, can't you?
That's right, because Mean 18 comes with a course architect that allows people to either modify an existing course or to create an entirely new one.
And as a golfer, do you find it satisfying to play the game that way?
I find it very simple, and people who don't even really play golf also enjoy playing it, too.
Well, 2 interesting simulations. Thanks, Ned. Thanks, John. That's it for our look at games. Hope we'll see you again next week here on the Computer Chronicles.
In the random access file this week, CPUs in the news. First of all, Intel has introduced a new 386SS microprocessor. It features 386 32-bit software compatibility, but with a slower 16-bit bus. The 386SX will be about 30% cheaper than the regular 386 chip, and it's about half the size. The 386SX will run at 16 megahertz. Meanwhile, at the Microelectronics Center in North Carolina, researchers have built a super chip called a Blitzen. It has 1.1 million transistors on a chip 1 centimeter square. It is described as a massive parallel processor and one of the most complex logic chips ever built. And at Gazelle Microcircuits in Santa Clara, California, a breakthrough in gallium arsenide chip, which doesn't require special circuitry or power, and so can be used in a socket designed for a silicone chip. Researchers say the new gallium arsenide chips only cost around $50 each and can increase processing speed by more than 25%. Digital research is trying to bounce back into the DOS world with a new operating system called DR-DOS. DRI says it's fully compatible with MS-DOS 3.3 and has some features MS-DOS doesn't have. DRI reportedly will start by selling DR-DOS in ROM on an OEM basis with a price half of that of Microsoft's MS-DOS. Compaq has come out with 2 new computers. One is a faster 25 megahertz version of its Desk Pro 386. The new 386-25 is reported to be up to 60% faster than IBM's new PS2 Model 70. The other new compact is the 386S, which is the first computer built around Intel's new 386SX chip. Time now for this week's software review. Here's Paul Schindler.
No, I'm not into nostalgia for bad movies from the 50s. I'm ready to read this 3D comic book that comes with one of the most famous text games of all, Leather Goddesses of Phobos, now available in a new version on the Macintosh. Infocom, the company responsible for this wildly funny and mildly scatological adventure, also wrote Zork, another popular text adventure. In addition to the software, you get the aforesaid 3D comic book. You also get a sheet of scratch and sniff squares marked, under penalty of unspeakably painful death at the hands of the letter goddesses of Photos, do not scratch and sniff until the story tells you to do so. And, shades of your youth, you get an invisible clue book in which you use a really magic marker to make the clues appear. Now, there's not much to show in a text game, except we can show you their sense of humor. There are 3 flavors: tame, suggestive, and lewd. To get lewd, you must be over 21. If you say you're 13 and then change your mind and say you're 21, it responds like this. Leather Goddesses of Phobos, $50 for the Macintosh, for the hard to offend, from Infocom in Cambridge, Massachusetts. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Paul Schindler.
IBM has confirmed that it is developing a trade-in program to encourage owners of PCs, XTs, and ATs to trade up to a PS2. Analysts are saying IBM is also hoping to speed up the acceptance of the PS2 as the new DOS standard. The magazine Macintosh Today is reporting that Apple will be coming out with 4 new Macs within the next 18 months. The magazine says there will be a laptop Mac, a 3-slot Mac, a color SE, and a multi-user Mac called the Tower that will feature a floor-standing CPU. Finally, get ready to hook up your car phone to a fax machine. NEC says it will be coming out with a portable fax machine that can run on 12 volts and can receive or send documents over cellular phone. The price is $2,400 and it's due out this fall. That's it for Random Access. I'm Cynthia Steele.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by CompuServe, featuring an online reference library, Wall Street reports, at-home shopping, airline reservations, games, and hundreds of other services. CompuServe, helping people get the most from computers. Additional funding is provided by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte. Byte's detailed technical articles on new hardware, software, and languages cover developments in computer technology worldwide.
For a transcript of this week's Computer Chronicles, send $3 to PTV Publications, Post Office Box 701, Kent, Ohio 44240. Please indicate program date.